So I was looking into how much these big tech companies or Silicon Valley combined are spending on lawyers or law firms, and it states that these people, these big tech companies, and all of these uh, big Google, Apple, and so on and so on and so forth, are combinedly spending hundreds of millions of dollar per year, every year, on uh, law firms, on lawyers. And the reason I was searching about these stats, well, because I wanted to make a video on on digital contracts and the corruption and injustice that happen in these contracts written by lawyers only. I was sitting with a lawyer once, just a few weeks ago, and we were having a conversation. And that lawyer, he said one thing to me. He said, "See, Asad, I'm a lawyer. I do my work honestly. I do my work honestly. Now it doesn't matter that the person who is sitting in front of me, who is my client, is he a culprit or is he innocent? I don't care. What I care is I do my job honestly." I.e., what he was trying to say is that the person sitting in front of me, the person who has come to me as a client, I don't care if he is a corrupt person, a criminal, or an innocent person. I will do my job honestly. That is, and he said this, if a person who has murdered someone came to me and he asked me that, save me. I did a murder, but I want you to save me. So what that lawyer was trying to say was, I'll save that person. I'll save that person. Why? Because I'm doing my job honestly, which was a little bit shocking for me that that's not how, at least, judiciary should be working. But it is what he said, that he doesn't care the person who is sitting in front of him is a culprit or innocent. What he said is, I don't care if he has done a murder or he hasn't. If he has come to me and asked me to save him, I'll save the murderer and I'll save the innocent. I'll do my job. I'll do my job honestly. So this is a justification we give to our consciousness, to our own self, when we know that we are doing something wrong. Whenever we are doing something wrong as human beings, we know that whatever thing we are doing, XYZ, if that is wrong, and we know, and there is something that keep reminding us that this thing which you are going to do is wrong, you shouldn't be doing that. You know, the thing with us humans, we have a self. It's called nafs. We start finding justification for our actions. We start justifying our actions. Oh, no, no, it's okay, it's not that bad. Oh, it's good for the greater, it's better for the greater good, so on and so forth. All of these justifications and reasons we give ourselves to do that thing which we know is evil, which we know is bad. Now, that lawyer which was talking to me, he knows that saving a murderer is bad, because justice means to bring justice. Justice doesn't mean you save the culprit if he's your client, if he's the one bringing you money. But the justification this person gave to himself, this lawyer gave to himself, is I'm doing my job honestly. I'm doing my job honestly. Yeah, I'm saving a murderer, a person who committed a murder. I'm saving him, but I'm doing my job honestly. So I'm good. Now, these justification we give ourselves so that we don't feel guilty. Maybe one of the reason is so that we don't feel guilty, because we know that whatever we are doing is wrong. So why am I talking about this? In this digital age, in this age of digital media and internet and all these things, contracts have also digitalized. Now you don't have that papers where you read everything in front of your eyes. Now you have screens to read. And what's funny, or what's the irony of this matter is, when we are talking about contracts, is the companies which claim to make the lives of humans easier, the company which claims to do good to societies, the company which claims to have to make this world a better place, will make sure that their terms and conditions are written in so much complicated language and words that the normal person don't understand them. And they'll make sure that their terms and conditions are so long that a normal person don't have the time to read them. They'll just scroll it up. They'll click on yes, and they'll move forward. One of my friend, he always says one thing, that there's no such thing as privacy in this digital age. There's no such thing as privacy in this digital age. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the messages are encrypted. It doesn't matter how much claims a company is making that we won't even share your data to FBI or to CIA. It doesn't matter what a company claims. If they want to spy on you, if they want to cheat you, if they want to exploit you, they will do that. They will do that. The governments won't let these companies operate until these very companies, tech companies, are benefiting the governments, are helping them to keep surveillance on the rest of the society, so that they can have power, control over people. Is that what you call democracy? Freedom? No, why did I started all of this? The longest ayah of the Quran is about contract. Allah says that whenever you are taking on any debt, I'm paraphrasing, whenever you are taking on any debt, or whenever you are getting into some kind of agreement, don't just make it verbal, write it down. Write it down and have two witnesses. And Allah commands those witnesses to be witnessed, and to be just, to not be biased. Allah commands for the person who is writing the contract, that person who can write a contract, because back in days before 1400 years ago, many people can't read and write. There were few people who can read and write. So Allah commands those people, For those of you who can read and write the contract. You cannot say no to the request of a person who is asking you to write the contract. In modern day, we can say that these people are now called lawyers. Lawyers are the one who write the contract now. They are the one who draft. So Allah commands them to be just, to not be corrupt. There shouldn't be any hidden clauses or phrases or complicated words which a normal person cannot understand, and they just sign the contract, or they just click on I agree on a digital screen, and then you can exploit them. And when they come back to you, you just say the terms and conditions stated clearly, not very clearly, using words, extremely difficult words, which a normal person doesn't understand them, which you don't even use in your household, in your life. Why are you using those words or those language or those kind of sentence or phrases in a contract? Why does your contract needs to have some fine printed lines on it? I mean, I don't understand that how. I don't understand what justification. I understand that why are these governments allowing these fine printed lines. I can understand that, but I don't understand what justification do they put forward for the people. What justifiable reason do people have to write fine printed lines on the contract which a person cannot read? There are billions exploited every year because of these fine printed lines. It states clearly on the contract. It states clearly on the contract. Yeah, very clearly. Very clearly. 1400 years ago, Allah commands humanity. Whenever you are getting into some debt agreement, you are taking money from someone, you are getting into some kind of deal, to write it down. To write it down. Don't just make a verbal commitment. Have a written agreement. And Allah is commanding these to people who don't know how to read and write. I.e., Allah is commanding people to get educated enough so that you can read and write contracts, so that you cannot be exploited by anyone, so that you cannot be you shouldn't be in a vulnerable position where someone can exploit you. What's happening today in the digitalized age, in the age of information, in the age of transformation, revolution of humanity, as they call it? Same corrupt practices, complicated lines, complicated words, fine printed lines written by lawyers and law firms and all those, to do what? I'm not saying everyone is doing that, but it's happening, and you're exploiting people. What are you doing? That's not justice. That's not what a profession of a lawyer teaches. That's not what judiciary is about. That's not what judiciary is about. If the very places where judiciary, where justice is practiced, taught, learn, will have these kind of corrupt practices, where will a normal person go? A person who can't even trust his judiciary, a person who can't even trust their own lawyers, where will a normal man or a normal woman go? Nowhere. Poor people will just have to say that it is what it is. Yes, we are getting exploited. We are getting exploited by banks. We are getting exploited by big tech companies. We are getting exploited by people who lended us money. The loan is increasing. The interest is increasing. The principal amount is not going down. The mortgage is getting extended. My data, my privacy is getting stolen. I'm being exploited. It is what it is. This is the world we live in. That's what a normal person says. And should they be doing saying that? No, no. That's not how societies should be. We don't need complicated languages in the contract. We don't need 10 pages of contracts. We don't need fine printed lines on the contract. We don't need complicated, fancy words in the contract paper. But you signed it. Yeah, signing something doesn't mean the person is giving their consent to it. Mutual consent means that both parties understand what is written in the contract. Just mere a signature on the paper doesn't mean they're giving their consent. Well, the contract is in front of them. They should read. Yeah, they should. But you are making it impossible for people to read it. That's why I was seeing how much are these big tech companies in Silicon Valley spending on uh, lawyers and law firms. Combined, they are spending billions of dollars every year. Even the stats show Google spent somewhere about $4.3 billion dollars from 2010 to 2020. $4.3 billion on lawyers? $4.3 billion. BILL, billion dollars on lawyers, law firms. Google alone, within the time period of 10 years. Apple, Microsoft, all of these companies spending millions, hundreds of millions of dollars every year on lawyers. This channel is about making people aware about the unjust practice that keeps happening, and it's about making people aware of being just. It's kind of I'm I'm just trying to, because education is the first step. I'm trying to raise that awareness in people that we should have a sense of justice in whatever we do. So for those people who are into these judiciary, who are into law and who are becoming a lawyer or judges or people who are in the judiciary, You people are the ambassadors of justice. You should be the ambassadors of justice. And you should be the ambassador of justice. There shouldn't be just a label on your name that says judge. The duty of a judge is to give a judgment which is just, not which is just potentially or on paper right. So for everyone, for people like me, normal people, if you are getting into some kind of deal, any deal, you're getting into a loan agreement, you're getting into some kind of contract, and these contract doesn't just limit to tech companies. I mean, contracts are there for employment, contracts are there for uh, uh, those different kind of private contracts and construction contracts and all those contracts. Write it down with justice. Don't hide terms and conditions. Don't hide few things where you can exploit the person sitting in front of you, which you know that cannot understand your lines in the contract. We have, whenever we are writing any kind of contract, we have to be as truthful and as transparent as we can. And it will start with me, it will start with you, it has to start with us. Then only we can look at that mountain of judiciary. But if we are not honoring justice in our small dealings, how can we expect these big tech companies and big corporation and big whatever to be just in their dealings? I mean, if I do something bad, that's okay. But if someone big in the CEO position or a big company does that, then that's not okay. Why is that? If someone else is doing that, that's wrong, but I'm doing that, oh, it's just a small thing. No, it's not a small thing. It's not about big or small, it's about the corrupt practice. We shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. I gave the example of judiciary in this video, but contracts are not limited to judiciary. We get into contracts at every part of life. I mean, marriage is a contract. Marriage is a contract. You sending your kids to school in a particular school, that's a contract. You hiring a person at your firm, that's a contract. There are so many different kind of contracts. And for you, the person who is writing the contract or making someone write the contract for themselves, don't just copy paste a format. Make sure that that contract is written in easy language so that both parties, you and the person sitting in front of you, understand that, so that justice can be established. It will start with you and me. It won't start with some big tech company. It will start with me and you. Why do you think that Allah made the longest ayah of the Quran about writing a contract? Allah dedicated the longest ayah of the Quran about contracts, writing it down. Because when contracts become a means of exploitation. Trust disappears. Society breaks. Civilization collapse. And Allah doesn't want that to happen for anyone. Allah doesn't want people fighting with each other. Allah doesn't want societies breaking apart, civilization deteriorating. Allah wants good for humanity. Allah wants good for you and me. Allah wants us to be successful in life, in this life and the next. But we get deviated from the straight path. And Allah keeps commanding us, Allah keeps calling us back to the straight path. Come to the straight path, come to the straight path. When you hear the call of the prayer, what does the muazzin say? Hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah. Come to salah, come towards success. Allah made this system so that every person, every day, for five times, keep hearing this message. Come towards success. Come for the salah, come towards success. But we don't hear that. We might not be hearing that. Even after hearing that, we might not be understanding that. We have to get back on the straight path. We have to establish the justice in society. I hope this video helps. I'll see you in the next one, inshallah.